You are now listening to 15 Minutes of Fame Radio.
Let's go!
About it, like beginning to end, perfect vibe, all the battles fire.
Come on, man.
The energy to it was fucking amazing. It really was.
DT back, baby. What's up, though?
So he's already talking about it. Mr. Two Times already said it. The energy was fire. It was lit in here. What's going on? Can you talk about it? How do you feel this event went?
You know, what we had to do to even make this happen was crazy. It was crazy. Like, people think that we just have endless resources and it's just, you know, like, this is being built off the work that we put in the past, but we have to constantly grind. When you set the bar as high as we have, and the people's expectations are so high, and not just by us, but every league in battle rap, what URL's doing, what RBE's doing, what King of the Dot, you like all these different platforms. Even you got the Riot, you got Chrome 23, like all these different factions doing their thing. So we're not only competing with them, but we're competing with ourselves. And it's not like we're directly competing with them, but just the expectations that they set. So we need to do some crazy shit. So in order to facilitate that, we got to go to extra measures every time. So I'm proud with what we achieved. Everybody had a phenomenal performance. There wasn't really any weak links, and I'm just juiced for what's next.
And also, now Geechee Gotti, I think it was.
Yeah, I thought he was my friend. I thought he was my friend. Nah.
All right, he had a scheme where he just said basically, this is the same thing as King of the Dot, just without organic. You know what I mean? What do you say to that?
I'll tell you what. It's a brilliant fucking angle, and that's the thing about Geechee. Like, you can never predict what he's gonna say. You might think he's gonna go a certain direction, but like, as far as angles and choosing what's gonna be effective, what's gonna cater to the crowd, what's gonna get that reaction, you can't do better than him. He is surgical with the angle. So at the end of the day, that's bro. You know, I've always continued to work with him, support him to the end, and he did what he was supposed to do. And like, that's the most effective approach anyone's ever had against Disaster. And you know, me catching some strays, it kind of makes sense. I did not see it coming, and that's what makes him so brilliant. You feel me? Like, you gotta love it. But I don't want these other MCs to get the idea that shit's gonna fly or be cool over here. It only work with Geechee. But nah, he did the damn thing, and I'm incredibly proud of him and incredibly proud of Diz. I already saw some people saying that that's my dog G Weez.
You already know GTS, they taking over, man.
Come on, baby.
You know, Westworld, man. We right behind them.
No, it's family right here. That's people are saying that's potentially I don't know, and I don't want to add to this, but people are saying it's the best third round in battle rap history, like back and forth. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just recency effect and it's hot off the presses. So, but you know, Diz was flawless with his shit. Geechee was flawless. It was an amazing battle, not just for the West Coast, but for the entire culture.
Right. Yeah, that third round was really good. So let me ask you a question. As far as, I don't know if you can tell me this, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think is the battle of the night? Which one would you select?
I mean, other than the headline battle, you saying?
Possibly. I mean, including the headline battle, you think one battle was better?
I'm going to say the headliner lived up to the hype, but as far as the most overall solid back and forth, there's a few that really stick out to me, but Passwords and B Magic, you know, there was no stumbles. They both really, like, we've been waiting for that for years. I think when all said and done, when you look at that battle and break it down on paper, that's as good as damn near anything else out right now.
So you think B Magic is back to being B Magic?
That's the best B Magic I've seen in years, straight up. You know, like he was really dope against Danny on Shots Fired recently, but he even then had a slight weight stumble or whatever. But in this, that's B Magic in his zone. His setups for punches, it was back to back with it. He even was flipping his cadence in the first round in ways we've never seen him do before. Like, shit was amazing.
You know, you're right about that. So now, can we talk about now? We know the next event is in there's the Crooked Eye event in December. Can we expect anything else in between there? Can you give us any?
Well, this was episode 1 of Ouroboros, so we're gonna have another episode.
Oh,
we just gotta
okay.
figure out the specifics as far as timing, and we're gonna unveil it to the people.
Okay.
But, you know, we want to make sure that we put, as far as we gonna have some dope content coming up, but we definitely got to put a lot into that Disaster versus King Crooked card, because there's no way we can't underdeliver on that one. So don't trip. Love you too, fool. Be smooth.
All right. And this is a random thing I just want to put out there. I see a lot of people in their bars and their rhymes and stuff. They want to bring up the coke habit and all this type of stuff. But you sober now. Can you want to talk about that or what's going on? Tell people about what's really going on.
2.5 years. You know, like it wasn't. I've always been a person that existed in a public space, and through my highs and lows, the culture was there, and essentially everyone saw me grow up on YouTube. So from the entirety of my adult life, pretty much. So it's no secret that I had drug problems. You saw the way I carried myself, and I'll say, but by the grace of God, I got 2.5 years clean and sober off of all mind-altering substances, and you see the results of what sobriety can bring to somebody's life. Because my life was chaotic, it was completely unmanageable, and I'm, thriving and more successful than I've ever been. And I definitely attribute that to God and me getting clean. There's no way I would ever deny that or minimize that. But at the end of the day, the jokes are always going to be funny. Like, I get it. Like, no one's immune to taking shots in battle rap culture. It comes with it, and if you a sucker, you gonna take that shit to heart. But that's why would we be here if we was like that?
Now this is another random thing at the end. I like this venue. This venue is crazy. Are y'all planning on using this again, or is it gonna be different places, or?
We always gonna go to different spots. You feel me? Like, we want to showcase different sides of the city, different places. Like, nobody else could have pulled off what we did with this venue tonight. There's a lot of protocol that had to be followed in order to make it make sense and keep everybody safe, and that's what we did. And it was, we brought, in battle rap culture, so many different people want to glorify and exploit Los Angeles gang culture, but they're terrified to actually set foot in these communities. So we brought an event to the community that's being, so much of its sauce is being taken from on so many different levels. So we were able to do it. Shouts to this entire faction over here and all that, and all of South Central LA.
All right. Anything else that we need to know as the people?
Man, we appreciate y'all's support. The more you support, the more we can put into this, make it bigger than ever. At the end of the day, GTX is all about bringing back stylistic diversity, originality, and that old grind time feel for the 2022. And on top of that, creating additional long-lasting revenue streams to all the battlers that grace this stage, including mechanical royalties, publishing, and residual income, and we doing that. So
talk about it. That's a whole different level. I'm glad you said that, because I've always thought of that myself. Like, battlers, we just simplify everything. As far as, hey, you just pay the battlers to come in and perform and things, but people don't think about sync licensing and what about when this possibly gets big and later on in 10 years from now when people are going back and putting this stuff in movies and on music. And I remember one time there was a guy who was putting beats to this stuff, and I was like, who's getting the royalties off of that? I forgot his name, but he used to make beats behind a Big Cheese, and there was a couple other too. Big Cheese. There's a couple other people.
And people tend to underestimate the long-lasting power and sustainability of this culture and business model. No longer. And it's not about us doing it. We want everybody to be doing that, and we want everybody to be ownership-minded on your Nipsey Hussle shit, on your Hova shit, you know what I'm saying? And really take this to think about generational wealth and what it can create for all of our futures. So that's what we all about, trying to explore as many options for revenue streams, and we actually have, through our deal with Sony and Band Royalty, we're able to actually implement that. So it's an honor to help usher that in on a larger scale, because a lot of people have been talking about it, but here we are with it.
Okay. So just to be clear, in the contracts with the battlers, some of the battlers, all of them, I don't know exactly how you work it, that some of them get paid.
All battles, all battles, and they're under the Sony Orchard umbrella. So which has a very sophisticated content ID system that really chases the bag. So like you were saying, and all that content that's made off of it, that algorithm is going to get caught by the content ID system, and then as long as the rappers register their ISRC code, which we generate through Sony Orchard with either ASCAP or BMI or whatever PRO royalty organization they work with, which is pretty much very easy for any artist to sign up for. It's get your publishing, own your shit, then you'll be able to actually capitalize off of that, in addition to the other revenue streams and residual incomes we provide every battler that graces our platform.
You just really dropped a jewel. Anybody who doesn't know what he's talking about, I suggest that you go and kind of look it up.
Do your Googles.
Do some Googles, some research, YouTube that.
And then on top of that, And then on top of that, depending on the artist, we've offered full ownership of your footage, drop it on your YouTube channel. It just depends. Like, yeah, as you can see, Geechee versus Kitchen Clean came out on the No Studio and platform. Like, we not opposed to working out certain situations if the business is right. We believe in ownership for the artist.
Ooh,
that's one of like the fundamental principles of the entire GTX movement and business plan.
Okay. Oh, talk about it. And we stumbled on something here. Yeah, so that's a whole different light. That's a whole different conversation we could get into. I know that the whole venue is getting out here, so I want to get into that, but that we might have to sit down and talk about that into detail, because that's huge. That's really big. That's not just a small thing that, oh, we kind of just do this on the side. No. That's a whole different thing. That's life lasting. That's when you talk about generational wealth and adding things to your your kids and your grandkids and more of that type of speak.
And I kind of stumbled upon this. This wasn't solely my idea, but when I realized how important it was to implement, I got for my music, a label deal with Sony Orchard through my man Rob Schwartz a couple years ago, right? And when I got that, I'm overseeing all of my revenue every month from not only my music, but the other music that I put out, from other artists that I put out. And one of my songs, like, I saw my check one month, I was like, yo, this is significantly higher than usual. What's going on? One of my songs had a sample on it from some random video on YouTube that, because I released it under the Sony Orchard umbrella, it became my content that I owned, and the content ID linked it to me, and that clip wound up being used and going viral on TikTok. So because I had ownership of that, I got a crazy ass bag, which is still coming in. So with that being said, it made me realize, damn, what if like somebody's battles? And I thought of the different times. Okay, like I remember R.I.P. FBG Duck, like him and one of his homies were like did a TikTok going back and forth. I think it was a gun titles round. And imagine if they had ownership of that and all these other people were remixing that. That's like several, 15. No, I think it was like 15 million views that I wound up generating. That would have been a significant check for those guys.
Hey, you talk about bars. That's a bar right there. You just dropping jewels right there. So all right, so like the whole thing is cleaned out. Everything is cleared out right now. Just last words. Any last words?
Appreciate all of y'all support. I can't tell you how grateful I am, and we gonna continue to put on for y'all as long as y'all want to see it. Come on.
Digi, 15 minutes of fame.
You know the vibes.
15 minutes of fame.
You are now listening to 15 Minutes of Fame Radio.
Let's go.